What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LCS Garage, and today is going to be a banger. Obviously, we're doing our first track day of the season. It's been long awaited. Coronavirus, you suck. But let's get the car prepared. So let's see what I'm going to be bringing to the track. So as I talked about in my last video, obviously you need a helmet for your track day. I use a Hans device. You need a mask now, and just a quick set of tools that I'll be bringing. I bring my torque wrench. I bring the it's a 19 or a 17. It's a 19 to get my lug nuts off in case I need to do that. Always bring zip ties. They're a lifesaver, and just an assorted socket set, some screwdrivers, and you know I never have actually used it, but I have my coilover adjusting tool as well, and maybe like some channels as well, but don't overdo it. I rarely ever have to use anything besides my torque wrench. So I'll put everything in my tool bag and I'll get the car loaded. All right, so we got the car loaded up. So let's just do one quick run around to make sure everything is looking okay. If you watch my first video, you'll know exactly what you need to check out. But starting from the back, again, I just make sure everything is clear. There's nothing in the trunk. I mean, I have this wood because my e-brake doesn't work, but one thing to check is your battery strap down. There's like a little bracket here, and it's important that your battery does not move while you're flinging this car around. So this trunk is empty besides my wood. That's nice and closed. I've already checked all of the tire pressures on all four corners. Obviously I have my helmet bag, all that fun stuff inside. I don't like to have anything loose inside the car. It's actually a requirement that you're not allowed to have anything loose, just because it's a danger to when you're driving around. So make sure everything is clear from behind you, from underneath your seats, all that fun stuff. Moving around to the front, I just checked all my fluids again. I checked, my oil, coolant, all the fun stuff, my brake fluid. Everything is looking fine. And again, I checked all four tires. But let's do one of those cool montage things. Right, we are reporting live from inside the Miata cabin, and this is where the magic happens. Let me give you a quick rundown of all the mods I have done to this Miata. I know I should have made a dedicated video, but whatever, here it is. No power mods at all. This is all geared towards safety towards the track. Kind of went overboard because I didn't know what I needed initially, but I guess let's start off with what I'm sitting in. These are Sparco Sprint 5 racing seats. They are one of the cheapest FIA approved seats. They're fixed bucket. For me, I'm about 6 foot tall, a little bit on the heavier side, and they hug me really tight. The shoulder position for me isn't optimal. I had an Ultra Shield before that I really loved. It just didn't look nice. Other than that, I have the race grip harnesses, 5-point harnesses on both driver and passenger seat. Those are attached to a Blackbird Fabworks, roll bar. It's like not the hardcore edition, it's the single loop. I like the single one better. Again, that's FIA approved. I have a Hard Dog harness bar. Yeah, I think that's it for the interior. I have obviously a hard top. The soft top is there as well. And I kept it pretty simple. I have a Sparco wheel. It's like a really small diameter. I mean, you can tell this is my hand size. It's almost the size of that. I am sitting up kind of close because I wanted my wife to be able to drive the car too. I'm not on sliders. I needed to be able to sit as low as possible in the car because there's something called the broomstick rule, where if your helmet goes, basically if you take a broomstick from the front windshield to the roll bar and your helmet sticks above that broomstick, then it's a no-go. It's not safe. So I want it to be as low in the car as possible. So with this, I can obviously fit. As you can tell, I'm inside a hardtop. But other than that, I got some kind of Bobo eBay shifter, but I have the 5X Racing short throw shifter kit. And that's pretty much it. It's you know, although I use it primarily as a track car, it is a full interior car, you know, power steering, radio, AC, the works. So that's it for the interior. For the exterior, you guys have already seen the car, but I guess I'll start from the front. Again, no power mods other than the fact that I am on a Mega Squirt ECU, and I did that because eventually I want to go turbo. Maybe. I don't know. It's running... Yeah, it's running not... I don't have a map sensor anymore because I'm running speed density, so that's why my intake looks a little bit janky. For like suspension, I have the Flying VMAX Extreme coilovers. They're honestly okay. And they are sitting on some Advanti Storm 15x9 wheels, and they're wrapped in the RS4s. And the RS4s, I think I talked about it in my previous video, they're really good autocross track day tires. They last a long time for a 200 tread wear tire. They are not as sticky as the Advan A050s, I think, or the Bridgestone RE71Rs, but you get a lot more life out of them, and that's basically what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to go to as many track days, have as much driving time for the least amount of money because I'm broke. So other than that, yeah, brakes, I have the Hawk DTC 60s all around, which are fantastic brake pads. I know they're race only, but I can still daily with them. And they just provide a lot of brake dust, as they typically do, and they can be kind of noisy. But that's it for mods. That's it for talking. Let's go over to the track. Alright guys, so this is just our practice runs for the Pineview Cup. The car is cold. Everything has been checked. I torqued down the lug nuts. So this is just getting the tires warmed up, getting the brakes warmed up. Okay, so overall, really good warm-up laps. I just wanted to get situated with the car, make sure everything was kind of functioning okay. I had good steering feel, good brake feel. I wanted to check out the track conditions as well. As you might have seen in the bottom corner, which is called the toe, there was a lot of water, like standing water, so that's going to be an area that you really have to be careful. Make sure not to wash out. It's an off-camber turn anyway, so it's really slippery. So now it's going to definitely affect the lap times and slow me down. So it's just something to keep out for. But it's slightly cool, but it's a nice day, and I'm just excited to be on track. Alright guys, so as you saw on the GoPro, we just finished our first session. I just took a quick look around the car. All the lug nuts are torqued to spec, everything is fine, nothing is loose. I checked under the hood, and there's no crazy leaks. There's you don't have to check your oil every session. If I have time, I do. And because there's so many run groups right now, I have plenty of time. So the way this works, this event, this is called the Pineview Cup Challenge or something like that. I'm calling it the Corona Cup. But there's different race groups based on our power to weight ratio. I'm in group, I think, 4A. And in my group, there's like a couple other Miatas, a BRZ. There's a GT500, but apparently he's on like 500 treadwear tires, so like the tires make a difference. I'm not really sure. There's a Mustang, C4 Corvette, things like that. So it's going to be a really interesting run group. I wasn't competitive last year. I don't think I'm going to be competitive this year, but it's just a lot of fun to do. And yeah, so let's get some more track footage. And this is already. So while the cars cool down, we have a cool drift show. Alright, let's see. So this apparently is a hard body with the 2JZ. Guys, so we are out for our first time session. I know it's not like the best view. I'll try to work on that, but most important things: pop-up headlights down, aerodynamics, AC off. We need all the power we can get with this thing, and just you know, focus. I have my phone on this pretty awesome mount. It's called a RAM mount. It doesn't slide around, so that way I can not only check out the GoPro footage, but I have a lap timer that I use, and there's two that I use. The first one I used was Harry's lap timer. It's okay. The second one is called Hot Lap. It's free. I've been using it here, and as long as you have a decent service, it's pretty good. So as soon as these other guys get off track, we're about to head off for our session. Alright guys, so this is our last session. We're doing okay. I mean, I don't actually know my lap times, the official lap times. I have a transponder in the front, but right now I've been using Hot Lap. My best lap time is 1:20.73. The conditions aren't the best because there's been drifting in between each session, and they're kicking up some like dirt onto the track on some corners. One guy dropped some oil, which really sucked, and that bottom left, it's called the toe, is still pretty wet. But you know, it's still a lot of fun. You know, every day is kind of a new experience, so that's a lot of fun. But again, The downside to a time trial event like this, where there's only like one warm-up lap and then 2 hot laps, is that there's not enough heat, at least for me, in these tires to make them nice and sticky. So I noticed my front end's washing out quite a bit. It sounds like I'm just making excuses, but we'll work with what we got, and let's make this a really fun run. Right now, there's a GT500 on 500 treadwear tires, and there's another Miata on the track at the same time. But AC is off, headlights are down. We are looking to have some fun, man. These tires. probably the worst session, as you can tell. I don't know if you can see this. It was 121. My best time here is a 119.9. I'm way off pace. I don't know. I just got like the nerves or something. It was especially kind of slippy, slidey in this section, which is called the toe. I normally have a lot of front bite here, but because it's wet, I'm washing out. And I don't know, man. It's like it's just one of those days, I guess. And then this section, it's a really tricky section. I don't know if you can tell, this is an uphill, and then it's a sharp right, but I can't go on the inside like I normally do because of all the dirt that the drifters kicked up. I was washing out here. I felt really understeery, and I didn't have a lot of confidence coming into this downhill off-camber turn called a knuckle. So I lost definitely some time here, and I ended up locking up here. This is a blind corner. Really sucked, but so it's like a downhill on-camber turn, and it's a lot of fun, but it's definitely sketchy. And here, again, there was some oil spilled, not on this corner, but you know, it's coming up, and I couldn't get grip down. But overall, we had a great time, and I don't know where I stand. I'm sure towards the bottom of the list, but yeah, you know, this track is so much fun. The guys are great, and you'll see plenty more track time Miata stuff coming up soon. Alright guys, so we just had an awesome track day. I mean, it was so much fun. You know, the day started off really cloudy. I was actually worried it was going to rain out on the track. I mean, there was portions of the track which were wet, but it ended up just being super nice, super sunny. It was like 60s, and it's just honestly like such a nice morning. The car didn't break, so that's always a huge plus. I think we did okay. It's definitely not my best driving, definitely not the best conditions, given like some debris on the track, but we had, I mean, just a really fun time. I mean, this is exactly the reason why I bought a car like this, or this Miata, you know, in particular. It's cheap, it's easy, and I can just chuck it around and not really care about it. I mean, I care about it, but like, you know, but before when I had the GTR, it was like, everything was expensive, right? If I went on the track day, brakes were expensive, tires were expensive, just fluids were expensive, and if God forbid something happened to the car, you know, like I wouldn't be able to, I'll never financially recover. But the Miata, you can toss it around, and if something breaks, which it hasn't, but if something breaks, it's so cheap to fix, and that for me makes it just so much more fun. I always have a blast at Pineview. It's a short technical track, and I got my ass whooped by an NB Miata. I mean, definitely driver mod. He doesn't have much more power than I do. I mean, maybe a little bit. He has a couple more mods like headers and exhaust, and he has some more suspension work, but I mean, he was like 4 seconds faster on a track that I normally lap around like 120s on, so it's a short track. So definitely have some driver mod to work on, but for me, it's just about self-improvement. It's like a therapy session. I had a lot of fun. I always have a lot of fun, and it's the best thing you can do. I mean, if you haven't done a track day or an autocross, you need to. Honestly, it's an experience. You shouldn't feel intimidated. It's a lot of fun. You don't need anything. I mean, I obviously set the car up more for like a track day with like harnesses and seats and a roll bar and things like that, but you don't need any of it. Just get out and drive. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's probably a pretty long one, but you'll see, you know, all of my mess ups driving. Feel free to comment below and tell me how much I can't drive, but you know, you try doing it. And I will continue to update with this Pineview Cup, and we'll kind of go from there. But thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next one.